Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've just uploaded a video with the general information on and a video clip of Putin's interview conducted by Tucker Carlson. And there were some points over there, valid points, and I think the interview was decent. But I have here one article that already is published on Russia Today about a subject that Putin was asked about, and that was who blew up the Nord Stream pipelines. Maybe you have forgotten, but that was an act of terrorism or sabotage, however you want to call it. And Putin says it was you guys, your guys, CIA. He said that because you need a motive and you need the means. And the United States has the means and had the motive. So let me show you this Russia Today article. It is from obviously today, February 8, 2024. US behind Nord Stream sabotage. Putin. The Russian president said the CIA is to blame for blowing up the Baltic gas pipelines in 2022. The US had a clear motive to orchestrate the explosions of the Nord Stream twin gas pipelines in 2022 and the means to do it, Russian President Putin told Tucker Carlson in an interview aired on Thursday. I don't think he has the evidence. I think he went like me, by elimination and que bono, and if you can do it. He said many would have had an interest to blow that pipeline, but only a few had the means. And one of them is the United States of America. The pipelines built to deliver natural gas from Russia to Germany through the Baltic Sea was targeted in September 2022. Several EU countries launched investigations into the attacks. Those are not investigations. But no results have been published. Asked directly by Carson who blew up the pipelines, Putin replied, "You, of course," referring to the United States. And I'm quoting, "Maybe you personally have an alibi, but the CIA doesn't have one." And I'm quoting, "I won't go into the details, but as the saying goes, in such cases, you must search for whomever has a vested interest in the sabotage," Putin said, adding that, and I'm quoting, "who had the ability to carry out the bombing on the seabed was a key question." And he said, I'm quoting, "not everyone can access the Baltic Sea seabed and carry out an explosion," Putin added. The Russian leader added that he had been surprised by Germany's silence on the matter. I wasn't surprised whatsoever. They're under total control since 1945. Putin and senior officials in Moscow have been saying that the US had the most to gain from the sabotage and pointed to Washington's public opposition to the construction of the pipelines. Moscow accused the West of stonewalling the investigation. The in 2023 award-winning U.S. journalist Seymour Hersh accused the U.S. of bombing Nord Stream. The White House dismissed the allegation at the time as complete fiction. I don't think so. Following Hersh's claim, several Western media outlets reported that Ukrainian citizens had been involved in the explosion. Kiev has denied having any ties to sabotage. Didn't have the means. I said maybe the Brits. Maybe it was a teamwork, United States together with Brits and maybe with some Poles or maybe with some Norwegians. That's how the story goes. But I don't think, I don't know, I can't speak for Putin, but my assessment is I don't think he has hard evidence to prove that. Because I think if he had, I don't think he held back. I think he would have just come out and said, like he said, you did Putin, CIA. But when it says you did, but he said why you, of course, referring to the United States, maybe you personally have an alibi, but the CIA doesn't have one. I won't go into details. Well, I think you need more than that. But if he said that on camera, well, that maybe he just throws something out there and see how these guys are going to react. The same technique. As I said, I mentioned it with that downing of the American U-2 spy plane over Soviet Union. I think it was in 1960. And the Americans said, "Oh, we don't fly spy planes over your country." knowing that the Soviets at that time were incapable of shooting them down. But in the meantime, they developed the capability the Americans did not know, and one of the U-2 spy planes were shot down. But also they didn't know that the pilot escaped, just ejected, so he survived. So the Americans, being certain that he's dead, then they denied, no, they didn't shoot anything, we don't have. So again, they let them dig their own grave or hole, and then after everything was kind of calm, they say, okay, here it is, and presented the pilot on the television station. So maybe the same thing here. He just says, well, you did it, and now CIA is gonna maybe the bait. They're not very smart, and they will say no, we babu, and then let them again dig their hole and then come with the evidence. Possible. I'm, as I said many times before, I don't know who did it, but if I were to pick a country, by far I would pick United States of America, by far with anything else. If I were to, let's say, from 100%, and I would have to distribute percentages to countries, I would give United States of America, I don't know, 90% or something, 70, 80, 90, something like that. I would go among, and then maybe the alone, nobody else would have there. Maybe the Brits at the order and with the help of the Americans, but the Brits, I don't think they would go that far, because one thing is when the Americans are doing, and the other thing, I believe me, if the Brits were doing it. If the Brits were doing it, that's not good for the Brits. You say, oh, wow. Well, as I explained many times, the Russians do not have to detonate an atomic bomb on the territory of the island over there. Just somewhere close by, 2 or 3 in the water, and you got some tsunamis coming to the Thames and Tamisa and London, just to mention a few. So I hope it doesn't happen. That's why I don't think the British wanted to push that far. So now that we know, we can all sleep very well. How should I put it? The evidence thing is these guys that supposedly conducted investigations, which was the Swedes, the Germans, and supposedly the Danes, Denmark, but I don't think they did. I don't hear anything about it. I mean, they did, but the Swedes said, well, we didn't find anything. Here's the information we got, like a hot potato, threw it into Germany. So the Swedes said, we know you take it. Not good. That incriminates even more whomever did it. I mean, if it would have been the Russians, the guys would have provided the evidence just like this. It was not the Russians. I would give the Russians 1%. The Poles don't have the capability. The Ukrainians are the same, and the other ones who have. All right, we're gonna find out in about, I don't know, 10 years when things will be safe to be said out loud, or maybe who knows who's gonna be tell us. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.